I think it's really important to note that most life coaches have a life coach that they also work with themselves, because life coaches, we don't have it all together. We're not perfect. We have tools and we have resources and we love sharing them with other people and we love helping other people along their healing journey, but we don't know everything. So most of us have our own coach and or therapist or both that we are also working with. So yesterday I was in a conversation with my coach and I kept mentioning boundaries. And she was like, you keep talking about boundaries. Can we talk about that word? And I was like, yes, let's talk about that word. And she blew my brain with this information. So I'm going to share it with you. Boundaries. The root word is bound. Who wants to be bound? I mean, okay, apart from like a specific situation, which you may be into, and that's fine. But I'm talking about emotionally. Who wants to be bound emotionally? Nobody. We want to be free emotionally. Okay, so the root word of boundaries is bound. And that means that there's likely a wall or a door, I've heard people explain it that way, or a fence, that the idea is that it's to keep you safe. But when you have this in front of you, you also can't let things go the other way, right? So it doesn't let anything in, which protects you in a certain sense, but you also can't put anything out, which binds you in another sense. So let's talk about instead the word, and now I forgot the word, standards. Let's talk about standards instead. What's the root word of standards? Stand. It's your stance on something. It is something that you can stand firm in. It's something that you can rise to. So instead of putting so much emphasis on boundaries in your life, what if instead you reframed it and thought about the standards that you hold in your life? And how would that feel if you were expressing your standards to another person versus expressing your boundaries to another person? She asked me, close your eyes and feel what happens in your body when I say each of these words. And she said the word boundaries, and I immediately felt like restriction, like my chest tightened. Like boundaries are hard. They're really hard, and they're hard to uphold, and they're hard to communicate, and it just felt tense and tight. And then she said, close your eyes and say the word standards. How does that feel? And it immediately felt like powerful, like I could breathe into it, like, yes, I know my standards. I know what those are, and they feel relatable, and they feel like something I can communicate easily and freely. So for whatever that's worth, think about your boundaries versus your standards and how those words could play out differently in your life.